Hey guys, it's Jill. It's like 10 after 1 in the morning on Tuesday, August, I think it's the 13th. 12th? Yeah, I think it's the 13th. um, I guess, quick story. Tonight I went to Wegmans. I was in need of chocolate cake and I didn't feel like making brownies, so I went and grabbed a small one. And I ended up swooping down Osborne Street. I've been called to that area a lot lately. It's a lot of chaos energy over there, like so much so. And I went down around to the outlet and I ended up going for a walk. Now, I just come from Wegmans, but when I went on my walk, I went across the bridge over the dam and I went down the canal walk, and I've never done that before. It was actually very interesting and kind of pretty. I was the only person down there, and there wasn't immense amounts of trash. There were some, drug paraphernalia, some bags on the ground, some beer bottles, but all in all, it was okay. And I ended up coming out by Auburn Armature and Wegmans. And if anybody knows what that red building is, it's down below. I'd love to know what that is. That was pretty cool. But I decided that I had to use the restroom. So I went back to Wegmans. And I don't usually walk to Wegmans. So as I was crossing, like where the crosswalk is, and then down, there's like a little ramp there. There was some garbage on the ground. There was a plastic water bottle and there was a plastic bag. And you guys know I'm so big on like picking up garbage, right? So I picked up these things, this plastic produce bag actually said Wegmans on it, and the water bottle. And as I got to the middle of the parking lot, someone had left a bunch of scratch offs in the middle of the parking lot. And I was like, well, I'll grab those too. So I got to the door, and where there used to be garbage cans outside the door, they were gone. And I went, where's the garbage can? So I went inside, and underneath where the handy wipes are, the garbage can was gone. And I was like, man, what the heck? So I got to the entryway inside, the vestibule there at Wegmans. And again, there was no garbage can. Now, this is the interesting thing. There was a little garbage can, but it had a very small slit in the top. So it was only for your cart wipe. And I was like, rage filled, right? I went through like inside out. I went like red and then like green to disgust, and I went, oh my goodness, where's the garbage can? And I probably would have been less angry if the garbage that I had picked up hadn't, number one, been branded Wegmans, and number two, been on the ground in their parking lot. Okay, so I went inside to the little area where they have now like the pick up to go food. And I said to the girl, I said, where are the garbage cans? And she goes, I don't know. She said, but I have one right here. And I said, I know this isn't your fault. I said, but there really should be garbage cans. I said, and I'd be less angry if this hadn't come from your parking lot. And she said, okay. But, young girl, not her responsibility. So I went to the bathroom and I washed my hands and I left. And I decided, instead of going back down the canal walk, that I was going to walk up the hill through downtown. So I went past Hunter's, and I got a little emotional, I gotta tell you, and for a multitude of reasons. One, the name. Two, the nostalgia, right? Three, the fact that it's non-existent now except for the building that's sitting there, and I don't really know what we're doing there. And then I went past the Dunkin', and I continued up the hill, and there's like no one around. Okay, I passed two women walking together, presumably a mother-daughter, who were coming across the intersection towards Wegmans, and a young man, probably early 20s, on his bicycle as I was coming to the corner at Wegmans where the stairs are to go to the parking lot. So I'm walking up the hill, and I notice that like all the businesses, not only are they closed, but most of the storefronts are empty. And then I look across the street, and of course Gretchen's is pre-leased, so that is empty. And then I looked at Angelo's, and there was nobody around. And a fun story about Angelo's, like 3 weeks ago, Casey Park had fireworks for the ball game, and my son and I had been cruising around out of town, and we came back into town. It was a Friday night, and I said, let's get pizza at Angelo's, go watch the fireworks. So we got pizza, and not only was the bottom crust like super crispy and kind of burny, but we were there at 9:30, and Angelo's was closing at 9:30 on a Friday night, and I was angry, and I was mortified. Here's the reason that I'm so concerned with where we're headed. There are 2 CDC warnings out right now for viruses. Now, the monkeypox virus was designed in a lab. I believe it was a Danish lab. Scientists claim that monkeys just all of a sudden became ill with this virus, right? And I think this was in like the 50s, actually. So now there's a vaccine, and it's on deck, and it's ready to go, and you can get double shots. Now, once you get the double shot, you don't have to get it again. There's no booster recommended, but I'd love to know what's in that. Please, please don't play this game again. Because this dengue, you dingies, okay, has a less than 1% death rate. Less than 1%. But there's also 2 shots available for that. People who are in fear are very, very easily manipulated and controlled, okay? This is how you get tyranny. This is how Hitler rose to power. All he had to do was convince people that this one group of people was bad and that they would be doing the right thing by exterminating them. And bam! He was all of a sudden in power, and we were slaughtering millions of Jews. Okay? And I say we as like a collective humanity because it really didn't take much more than 5, 6, 10 years for this to take place. It started slowly. This did not just happen, okay? It wasn't just a 3 or 4 years war. This was psychological manipulation. Now, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these things on the news. You're going to start seeing warnings, warnings, warnings. You're going to see them try to lock things down again. But I am here to promise you that if we play this game again, what is left of our mom and pops across this country, across multiple countries, are going to be wiped out. We're already seeing most of our retail going away besides big stores like the Wegmans, like the Walmart, like the Target, okay? Because everything is so readily accessible online. Well, that's great. And yes, right now it is. Until the rules change. Okay, when we come under dictatorship, when we come under tyranny, and I'm concerned that it doesn't matter if you vote red or blue at this point. I think that is just the NWO endgame, and I've said that multiple times, okay? Both are not in our best interest at this point because there is such a larger agenda. We are on a narrow bridge, friends, a very narrow bridge, and the more narrow it gets, the harder it's going to be to exist out here. Now, because I'm so in tune with these things, like, you know, I am that person picking up the garbage and not finding the garbage can. I'm frustrated, you guys. I am so frustrated. Like, my will to be out here right now is a constant struggle. Constant. The things that I'm seeing, the shifts and the Mandela effects that are coming, these are massive timeline shifts. Changing the alphabet song, my friends. In 2 generations, the alphabet song will be eradicated. The alphabet song is from the 1700s. It is the same theme as Baba Black Sheep and the alphabet tune. And Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I'm sorry. Okay? Those are all the same thing. Those are sounds that we pass down to our children. That is multi-generational programming. That when this goes away, that will actually be a cleansing, a memory cleanse, a language cleanse, okay? LMNOP is a string of letters and phonetic sounds. If we're teaching the alphabet as A, B, C, D, E, then there's no reason that children should not be able to make the connection that these 6 letters are not individual. There's no reason for that. The logic behind them changing it is absurd, because you have to draw those lines and create those neural pathways for children to understand that these are the 26 letters that combine our alphabet that make up the English language. What are we doing allowing these things? I know that I don't get comments on my videos, but I need some. I really need some feedback. Even if you disagree, give me something, guys, because I'm watching us fall again to ignorance, and I'm watching things shift and change, and I'm telling you that they are going to try and shut us down again. But what we cannot do is make the same mistakes. Do not run out and panic buy things. Do not freak out. This is why mindfulness is so important. You cannot live in this fear, because when people are in fear, when people feel caged, they become angry. They become cruel. They do things that they wouldn't normally do, like hurt people and steal. Okay, there are a lot of things moving right now. And the bigger agenda, they know this. So the more narrow the bridge, the harder it's going to be to walk. And that goes across the board. Okay? So please be aware of things that are shifting. Be aware of your surroundings. I've talked about that before. And for the love of God, be aware of what you are injecting into your body and the reasons that you are doing it. Because less than 1% death rate is probably not justifiable for 2 shots in your body of chemical shitstorms that you have no idea what they are. Ask the hard questions, friends. It is time. I know that you weren't taught that. I know public education didn't prepare you for this, and I apologize. But it's time to get on board the train, okay? I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good night.